Right, time for a quick video. I thought I'd make a quick video about the EV9 and a bit specifically about the range you get within the EV9. We recently sold our Tesla Model 3 and bought an EV9 mainly because we needed a bigger car with 7 seats. And while doing some research on which car to buy, I really struggled to find any decent videos, at least UK based, that sort of showed what the real world range was for this car. So I thought we're going to do a little drive today. It's not going to be a very long drive, but a drive that will include some motorway and some A roads and some sort of town driving, which will hopefully give us a sort of a realistic overview of the types of miles or miles per kilowatt hour that you get out of this car, which then can allow you to work out how many miles you can get from a full charge. A little bit of background, it's a July day in 2025. Temperature today is about early 20s. It's dry at the moment, so it's kind of probably about ideal conditions. And yeah, this is a 2024 EV9 with about 11,000 miles done. It's a GT-Line S, so it's the dual motor 4-wheel drive version. And yeah, anyway, let me show you what's inside the car now, and we'll go from there. Okay, so this is before we start driving. We've got 80% charge, you can see down there, 277 miles apparently of range with 80%. You can see at the after charging trip is all zeros. So let's see how many miles we do and how that affects the percentage in the range. So the drive was, in total, was just about 100 miles or so, but it was split up into 3 legs. The first was mainly B-road driving, then the second was a slightly longer leg and included A roads and motorways, and then the final leg was sort of an in-between distance-wise and mainly faster road driving again. We left the air conditioning on at 21 degrees Celsius and just automatic, so it was all just left on auto, and the car was in normal mode, so I didn't use eco or anything like that. I just left it in normal mode and then drove at the speed limit. So I wasn't trying to be super efficient, but I also wasn't driving particularly quickly either. So after the first leg, which was just a little bit under 21 miles, it was quite slow, the leg, so it was the average speed was pretty low. Almost all of it was B-road driving, and after that leg we had used 17 miles worth of range according to the computer, but actually done 21 miles, which was quite interesting. And our percentage charge was down from 80% down to 73%, and we had averaged 3 miles per kilowatt hour. So if you take those numbers and work out sort of the type of range you could get from a full battery, so if you consider that we used 7% worth of battery and had driven 21 miles, then that works out as a nice round 300 miles for a full battery. Or alternatively, if we take the 3 miles per kilowatt hour and multiply that by I think it's 96 kilowatt hour usable battery size in the EV9, then that ends up with about 288 miles worth of range. So somewhere in that ballpark is what we're averaging after that first leg. Right, after 2 legs of the journey, which has mainly been B roads with a bit of motorway, we've done 70.5 miles, averaging 3.3 miles per kilowatt hour, and we're down to 60%. So we've used 20% to do 70 miles. So I think that means, about 350-ish roughly for a full charge. But we'll see what happens on the last leg, and yeah, so far so good.
Right, so at the end of the journey, we had completed 96.5 miles, averaging 3.3 miles per kilowatt hour, and our range was down to 170, which means that when you consider that we started with a range of 277 according to the computer, we had used 107 miles worth of range according to the computer to achieve 96.5 miles of actual range. So the last leg sort of hit our predicted range quite heavily. So it's interesting that that was the case. Right. But if you take the 3.3 miles per kilowatt hour and multiply that by the size of the battery, then you end up with 316, I think it is, miles of predicted range, which is pretty much bang on the range that's documented for the car. Or alternatively, if you look at how we've ended up with 51% of the battery left, we started with 80, so we've used 29% battery to achieve 96.5 miles. If you work that out, then that would suggest that 100% of charge could get you 330 odd miles worth of range. So yeah, really quite impressive, and at least in these conditions when the weather is rough early 20s Celsius, and the weather is good, that the car is performing incredibly well and sort of aligning with the numbers that Kia is predicting the car should be able to do. So yeah, really good.
So there we have it, average of about 3.3 miles per kilowatt hour, and therefore a very realistic summer range of 300 miles out of a full charge, which is great. And you know, the main thing I've taken away from this is that at least in the summer, in good conditions, the range that Kia advertised for the car is pretty accurate. You know, it's not far off what you'll actually get, and I'm sure that didn't used to be the case with, you know, the first and second and, you know, previous generations of electric cars. Maybe you get 70%, and now we're getting far closer to the real range, which is great. Now that was summer, good conditions, nice temperature, no rain. So it will be interesting to see how the car performs in the winter when it's raining, a bit like it is right now actually, and the temperature is lower. And you know, therefore the battery won't be operating as efficiently, and there'll be more rolling resistance from the rain on the ground and all those sorts of things. So if there's any interest in that kind of video, let me know. You know, drop a comment, and I can certainly try and make another the same video again, but in the much colder months over winter, so that we can compare the summer versus the winter range. But I thought I would sort of just wrap this up, because it's now October 2025, and we bought the car in July 2025. So it's been a few months since I recorded that first piece of the video, and we've done many, many more miles. So I thought I'd show you what we've achieved so far in the car. So let me just turn the camera around. Okay, so you can see we've done 2,200 or so miles, and based on that time, the average speed is about 13 miles an hour, because obviously this mileage includes everything. Our longer journeys, plus also a vast number of short journeys to and from schools, waiting outside schools for kids to come, all that kind of stuff. And we're averaging 2.9 miles per kilowatt hour over our entire ownership of the car, which is just over 3 months. So I think that's pretty good, considering the size of the car. You know, these miles per kilowatt hour numbers that we're seeing are nothing compared to what you might get from a much smaller car, like the Tesla Model 3 that we owned before. But considering this is a 2.5 ton, 7-seat SUV, I think this miles, you know, the efficiency we're seeing is incredibly good. And then that, coupled with the very large battery, the 96 odd kilowatt hour battery, means that we have a very, very decent range that we can get out of the car. So, you know, we can do long journeys without having to worry too much at all. At least in the UK, where our distances don't tend to be as large as they might be in, say, America or Australia or some of these other countries. So yeah, overall, I think this has proved to be really good, and we're really enjoying the car, and looking forward to using it for many more family adventures. So Excellent. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Please do like and subscribe if you found use out of this video. For a small channel like mine, every subscriber means a huge amount. It's something to celebrate whenever I get a subscriber. So please do subscribe if you like this. Let me know if you've got any questions. Leave them in the comments. I'll definitely try to answer them. And I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.